This is a 2026 Ford F350 Platinum Plus dual rear wheel. And shockingly, this is like considered a rare breed for the Super Duty lineup. I borrowed this truck from Garff Ford here in West Valley, Utah. This truck is available for sale, and they actually have a few other ones here. Be sure to ask for Ken. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys see some of the options and features on this build. At the very top is the description. And then here are the colors. So Marsh gray with the smoked truffle interior. And then this is a short listing of the standard features. Be sure to pause to see more. Now starting off the options is Marsh gray at $495. High output power stroke comes a part of that Platinum Plus package, so just keep that in mind. This one also has a 355 limited slip axle, FX4 off-road, rapid heat, engine block heater, fifth wheel hitch prep package, security code, and this does have that connection package too. Now base price for this truck is $82,195. Destination is $25,995 for a total price of $109,480. So why is this a better buy over the F450? For me personally, I think this truck does everything the F450 can do and more. Now you guys just saw the base price of this truck. Now if you're not getting the Platinum Plus package, you can get the 7.3 liter gas engine standard. So if you're after max payload because you're going to be hauling a bed camper, that configuration is available with the F350. However, if you want it in the F450, you have to get a diesel. And because you do have an overbuilt truck and a 14K GBWR, you are going to have less payload compared to the F350 dually. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're building these trucks from the factory, you're more than likely going to get your allocation versus the F450, and dealerships are going to be more than happy to start discounting this versus an F450 because of the premium that they bring. And when you get the Platinum Plus, I mean, my goodness, man, this truck looks so good. What do you guys think about the Marsh Gray? This Marsh Gray, little by little, is growing on me, and I think this configuration is like perfect. Now, Platinum Plus does bring you some more satin finishes down here. They actually took it away for 2025 and 2026 on the regular Platinum, but on Platinum Plus, it brings it back here. And you have it around the grille, around the headlights. You guys see it has the adaptive headlights up front, which is probably the main reason why I would get a Platinum. Front parking sensors. You cannot get chrome bumpers on this truck. You have to go down to a King Ranch or a Lariat, which comes standard with those chrome bumpers. You guys see right here, solid front axle. You just don't have that super wide turning radius on this one. Fabric material for the liner, and then here are the tires. These are the Michelin LTX AT2, so it's like an all-terrain tire. LT 245 75 17 8 lug, load range E, and here are the capacities right here. So it's showing here 3,195 pounds for single, 2,910 pounds for dual. Now I'm pretty sure someone's going to chime in and say this is the main reason why I would get the F450. You get the wide front track and you get the overbuilt tires and wheels. However, how much are those tires compared to these tires when it comes time to replace them? I'm not really sure. It could be cheaper for the F450, but I'm willing to bet you they're not. And when you think about tire pressure too, you can run these a little bit lower because you guys know that the F450 does have commercial grade tires, okay? Now, on the side, you guys see there's a little bit of chrome, a little bit of satin. I wish Ford would just make it all satin, because then I wouldn't care about blackout anymore, because I like the finish of this so much better compared to this. I don't like bright chrome, just my personal opinion. I'm allowed to have my own opinion, right? You see the high output badge down there, and also have the light on here, turn signal, blind spot alert, and then you have more satin right here. Security code was an option, and then more chrome on those power deployable running boards. And as I've said in other videos, the main reason why I would get the FX4 package is for that skid plate. 48-gallon fuel tank needs to be protected going down the highway. 7.4-gallon DEF tank. You guys see the steps there. I think I like that stubbier look too of the 17s with these tires versus the F452. Just my personal opinion. And then you can run 37s on here if you like. You guys see you have a liner for just the front tire. You can see the fifth wheel prep package right there. Here's that leaf pack. You do have downhill assist with this package too. And then you have the full LED tail lights. You have that applique in the rear. It looks super nice. Clearance lights down there. Now, if you want the 3-inch receiver, you would have to go with that 410 rear. And that would give you an upgraded diff cover too. There's that spare tire. Did I mention that these are LED too? If I didn't, they are. Power tailgate. You have your 7-pin and 12-way plug. Bed lights, fifth wheel prep package. This now comes part of the Platinum Plus package. 2 kilowatts of power, which is 2,000 watts, and everyone knows the Ford has that, right? There she is. It's a nice shot right there. And then here's a nice look at that dually rear. That is killer. Still the king of the hill. Ram is in a rebuilding process, and GM just doesn't care to compete, it seems like. So Ford's like, you know what? We're gonna keep rolling #1 with 500 horsepower, which comes on around 2,600 RPM, and 1,200 pound-feet of torque. That comes on around 1,600 RPM. Now, if you don't remember, they did increase the displacement of the high pressure fuel pump on this engine. 35 PSI, that's insane. Think about that, 35 PSI. That is just crazy. Also 15.2 to 1 compression on this engine, and they do water cool the compressor housing on this one too. Also that 10-speed 10R140 behind it is still putting down the power strong. Maybe we'll drive the truck today if I have a chance. But yeah, 10W30 oil out of this one. And I think that at the end of the day, you can't really hate on Ford because they've been doing a pretty darn good job. Now, I always forget to show this guy. Where's it at? It's somewhere in here. There it is. There it is. I'm not even gonna pull it out. I'm just gonna let it sit in there. That's your engine block heater. I recommend using that because these trucks take a little bit longer to heat up. And I mean, diesels in general do, so you want that combustion to get nice and hot so you don't have to deal with fuel dilution. Let's check out this beautiful interior. So this is that truffle interior that replaces the limited interior, which I like this one so much better, simply because that work truck gray didn't work well with that interior. So this one here really does knock it out of the park. Love the wood treatment that they give this truck too. Of course, you still have all the nice features on the door. They do give this truck the black speaker grills, which is interesting that they don't give this to the regular Platinums. You have an illuminated kick plate right here. That's gonna be on both sides. Love that they give you this treatment to the side of the seat too. Looks so nice. On the regular Platinum with the black interior, they give you chrome. Again, kind of interesting what they do, but look at these seats. Huge seats. And they have the max recline function too. Tilt headrest, suede on the A pillars and the B pillars. They also leather wrap the grab handles, and they just give you suede almost everywhere up there. Heads up display, 12-inch screen, 12-inch screen, Platinum badge right here. I always forget to point this out, but Ford has some pretty big steering wheels too, by the way. Here's some of your lighting controls, and you can drop the tailgate, electronic parking brake, power pedals. I think the black carpet works really good too with this interior. Now here is the back. See pockets there, and also Type-C USBs, outboard heated seats, air vents, 120 volt power plug, and you have those cup holders there. And they don't skimp out. They still give you that diamond stitch leather back here, platinum badge. Let's go ahead and jump over to the passenger seat. Massage function is on both sides too. You can see that twin panel. And check out the cover here. Really nice. I will say though, that King Ranch interior does hit too. Now, if you don't get the camper package, they don't recommend you use a bed camper with these trucks. But hey, if you want to tow a fifth wheel, this truck has a big payload, which you'll see here in a second. More of that wood treatment right there. Let's go ahead and jump over to the driver's seat. Alright, so here's the biggest issue with the F350 dually. So if you're someone who needs the best of the best turning radius, I will admit, I drove this truck around the lot today just to kind of get a feel for it. Because, you know, maybe it's not as bad as people make it out to be. But because I know what I know about the F450, that's probably the main reason why people do skip this truck. Simply because the turning radius isn't as good as that F450. But regardless of it, let's see. It doesn't mess with you all the time. It's just if you're in really tight spaces and you need to maneuver this truck around a small parking lot, that's the only time it really matters. But for me personally, I don't know if I would really absolutely have to have an F450. I feel as though I like the idea of having the payload that this truck has. Like if you're looking to get a toy hauler that has a 4,000 pound, you know, pin weight dry, I mean, that could really change which truck you buy, because you guys know the F450s in this trim level typically have around 4,700 pounds of payload, and if you're adding a fifth wheel hitch, that can put you down to 4,500 pounds of payload, and now you're only 500 pounds away before you can exceed that truck. And I mean, I get that some people don't care about that, but it's just something to consider. Now, if you want to turn on the massage function, you can push the button on the side of the seat. Really easy to do, and they have really good massage function too. 3 levels of intensity. You guys saw this truck did have the Pro Power, and if you want to turn that on, you just go to Features, Pro Power, and then boom, you turn on that generator. So you have the inverter underneath the back seat there. Now, if you want, you can turn all the power plugs off by just pushing that power button right there. Now, does this truck have the onboard scales? Yes, it does. Onboard scales. Love this. This is really a Ford exclusive. They have this. So if you're trying to get your trailer weighed, you have this function to do so. I love that. Now, as far as the screen goes, a lot of different things you can see in here. One nice thing about the F450 is they did add to where you can now see the tire pressure with that truck. So that is one nice feature about the F450, because this truck has always had the tire pressure where you can see that at. You have to go to, let's see, vehicle maintenance, tire pressure, and voila, tire pressure. As far as the numbers go, the front gross axle weight rating is going to be 5,600 pounds. The rear is 9,900 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is 14,000 pounds. You guys see the wheels are 17 by 6.5 wide. Axle code is a 3K. And then all-in payload capacity is 5,355 pounds. 75 PSI for the front tire, 65 for the rear. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is definitely one of the best trucks in the segment, simply because of the payload capacity too. And I'll show you guys some of the towing capacity right here. This truck does have great towing capacity too. Most people will never even get close to some of the towing numbers that these trucks have. But if you're looking to tow a 18, 19,000 pound trailer, I highly recommend this over a single rear wheel. I know some guys do it all day long, but my opinion is once you start getting into that 15 plus range, you gotta start looking at dually trucks, because most trucks start running out of payload capacity at that point anyways. And of course, at 15K, you might want to even start considering a long bed truck as well for that better stability, which of course these dualies have. So again, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Make sure the notifications are on. See you guys soon.